Hi guys, welcome to day one of your 7-day yoga challenge. Thank you so much for joining me. For today's class, we are going to be looking at shoulders, building strength and finding mobility in the shoulder area. So for this class, you're going to need a strap. So if you haven't got one handily available, you can also use a dressing gown cord if you've got one of those instead of. So hit pause if you need to go and grab one of those now. If you've got one to hand, then come and find me on the mat. Let's get started. So we're going to take a seated position to begin with. You can elevate your hips using either a block or a cushion or anything else that makes a seated position comfortable for you. It doesn't have to be cross-legged. You can also sit kneeling as well as. So to begin with, we're just going to find a comfortable seated position, grounding down through the sitting bones. And we're going to sit nice and tall, lengthening through the spine. And just to begin with, we're going to ground ourselves here for our practice. So closing the eyes, taking a nice deep inhale through the nose. And exhaling out through the nose. Just tuning back into the self, creating that space that you need to begin your practice. Maybe turning on that Ujjayi breath, finding the softness at the back of the throat on every exhale. And we're just going to start to find a little bit of movement. So you're welcome to keep your eyes closed for this. If you want to keep them open for a moment just to see where we're going, then that's fine too. So on an inhale, we're just going to sweep the arms up, round, overhead. Bring the palms to touch, and on an exhale, draw them through heart center. Flowing with our own breath. Inhale as we sweep the arms out to the side, up overhead, so that the palms come to touch. And exhale as you bring it through heart center. Keep it going with the rhythm of your own breath. Nice deep inhale as you take the arms up overhead, palms come to touch. And exhale as you draw through heart center. Keep it going. You're welcome to keep the eyes closed. Inhaling the arms up overhead. And exhale through heart center. And when you take the arms out once more, make this the third to the last time. So 3 more times in the rhythm of your own breath. Coming to the last time. And when you've got to the last of your third time, just placing the arms into the palms. We're going to take it to a side stretch. So we're going to bring the right fingertips down onto the mat beside us. The left arm is going to reach up overhead. And we're going to lean over to the side. Just finding a nice side stretch here, opening into the sides of the body. Leaning over to the right. Breathing nice and deep. Feeling the rib cage open on every inhale. And then on the next inhale, we're going to take it up to center. We're going to drop the opposite side. Fingertips come to the mat. Right arm sweeps overhead, reaching all the way over to the side. Maybe the gaze stays out in front, maybe it reaches up towards the ceiling. Wherever feels comfortable for you. Nice deep breaths into the side body. And then we're going to come all the way up to center, drop it over to the opposite side, but we're going to find a little bit of a flow here. So we're going to exhale as we lean, reaching over to the side. Inhale as we come all the way up through the center, and exhale as we drop over to the opposite side. Inhale to come all the way up to center. Exhale as we drop it over to the opposite side and reaching. And you can come down onto the forearm if that's for you. If not, keeping onto the fingertips. Noticing where your practice is today, how far you want to go today. Moving with the breath, inhaling to come up, exhaling to reach over to the opposite side. Couple more just like this. And as you do, I want you to think about the shoulders, keeping them nice and stable. We're not rounding forwards, we're keeping the spine nice and long, reaching over to the side. Drawing the top shoulders back. And once you come over to the left, making this the last time. So inhale to come up to center, exhale over to the right. Taking it the opposite way so it's nice and even. And then coming up to center, holding it here, nice. We're just going to find a quick, nice puppy pose. So I want you to spin yourself around onto a tabletop position, setting up the foundations here, knees under the hips, tucking the toes behind you. Wrists are going to start underneath the shoulders, spreading the fingers wide. Palms stay shoulder width apart as we walk them forwards. And slowly lower the chest down towards the mat, placing either the chin, nose, or the forehead down on the mat. And if you're not quite there yet, I just want you to focus on drawing the heart towards the mat, melting it further on every exhale, and sending the hips up high. Nice deep breaths here, starting to open up into the shoulders. Couple deep breaths. And then on the next inhale, we're going to slowly lift the chest back up, walk the hands back into a tabletop position, and just sit ourselves back onto our heels. So we're going to start to open and warm into the shoulders. This is where your strap's going to come in. So we're going to take hold of our strap, and I want you to pull it out tight, holding each end so that the arms are straight. And we're going to keep the strap nice and taut. And on an inhale, starting out in front of the chest, we're going to take the strap up overhead. Hold it here for a moment, and then on an exhale, we're going to drop it behind us, but we want the shoulders to work at the same time. So we don't want each shoulder moving back one at a time. We want both of them to open at the same time so that we can drop the arm and strap behind us. So you might need to widen the strap or hold the length of the strap if they are a little bit clunky. Then on an inhale, we're going to bring the strap back overhead, and exhale as we drop it into the front of us. Nice. We're going to flow with our breath. So inhale as we take the strap overhead. Exhale as we open through the chest, draw the shoulder blades together and drop the strap behind us. Inhale to bring it back up overhead. And exhale as we bring it out in front. Nice. Keep it going. Inhale to take it up overhead. keeping that strap nice and taut. Exhale as we lower it behind us. Inhale to come back up. Exhale to lower in front. 2 more, just like this. Inhale as we take it up overhead. Exhale to lower behind you. Draw those shoulder blades together. Inhale to lift up overhead. And exhale down in front. Nice. Last time. Inhale to lift it up over. Exhale as you lower it behind you. Draw the shoulder blades together. Inhale as we bring it all the way back overhead to the front. And exhale as we lower. Nice. Release the strap. You can pop that to one side. Awesome. So we're going to bring ourselves onto tabletop position once more. And we're just going to find ourselves into a forearm plank. So you're very welcome to keep the knees down for this moment. If not, we're going to come to a full forearm plank with me. So we're going to lift the knees up. Elbows are going to be underneath the shoulders. Forearms are parallel to one another. Spread the hands nice and wide and ground the whole forearm into the mat. Starting to turn on this core, drawing it, the belly button in towards the spine. And we're just going to find a little bit of movement. So we're staying on the toes and we're just going to use the toes to propel ourselves forwards and then pull it all the way back. Push forwards, pull it all the way back. Couple times like this. Just moving forwards and backwards, finding that movement, finding that strength, waking the shoulders up, waking up the core. Nice deep breaths. One more as we push forward, come back and lower those knees down. Nice, good job. Opening up, we're going to come onto the hands, find a tabletop, tuck the toes behind us to find a downward facing dog. And we're just going to find a little bit of movement in here. So we're spreading the fingers wide, grounding down through the knuckles, finding that long line from the wrists all the way to the hips. Bending the knees if you need it, sending the hips up nice and high. And if you want to pedal out those legs, finding a little bit of movement in your down dog, then do so. Whatever your body needs right now. Nice deep breaths. And then we're just going to find a bit of stillness in our downward facing dog. And on an inhale, we're going to lift the heels up high. Exhale as we ripple the body all the way forward to a plank. And then on an exhale, gently bend through the knees, send the hips back and up and high into a downward facing dog. So we're coming into this ripple effect. Inhale, lift the heels high, ripple into a plank. On the exhale, bend the knees, send the hips back and find a downward facing dog. 2 more, just like this. Inhale to lift and heighten, and then coming all the way through that ripple into a plank. Exhale as you bend the knees, sending the hips back and high, downward facing dog. Last time, inhale to lift the heels, ripple through the spine, rounding into that upper back, finding plank. Exhale as we bend the knees and send the hips up back and high to downward facing dog. Nice. So we're going to come through to our plank. Let's find that ripple once more. Inhale as you lift the heels, ripple through the spine, find a plank, hold it here. Drop to the knees if you need to. Nice deep breath. And then we're going to drop the right knee down underneath the hip. We're going to kick the right foot off to the side of the mat, tuck the toes. Then we're going to drop the left heel down and lift the left arm up towards the ceiling. We're finding a level one side plank here. So we're stacking the shoulders on top of each other. We're supporting the hips with our right knee. And then the left foot can stay grounding down onto the mat, or we can lift it off as well. So we're balancing our weight onto the arm and the knee. Nice deep breaths here. Then exhale as we lower the back foot down. Lower the left arm, comes back down, finding tabletop. Tuck the toes, send the hips back and high to downward facing dog. Nice. We're going to go for the opposite side. So we're going to inhale, lift the heels, ripple forward to find plank. Hold it here for a breath. Then drop the left knee. We're going for the opposite side for a level 1 side plank. Kick the left toes off the mat, keeping on the toes tucked. Drop the right heel down. Lift the right arm all the way up towards the ceiling. Stack the shoulders on top of each other. Hold it here if you're staying here in level 1. If you want to lift the back foot goes high to hip height. Flexing the right toes. Nice and strong. Stack the shoulders on top of each other. Nice deep breaths. Really think about pushing the mat away from you. And then exhale as the back foot goes back down to the mat, and release the right arm back to the mat, tabletop position. Send the hips up back and high to downward facing dog. Nice deep breath. Then from here, we're going to ripple forward, finding that plank. But this time, we're going to drop down onto our forearms. So the elbows are directly underneath the shoulders. Forearms are parallel to one another. We're spreading the fingers wide. Tuck that core right in, drawing the belly button all the way to the spine. Nice deep breaths. Spread the shoulders apart. So we're finding lots of strength here in the forearms and the shoulders. And then from here, we're just going to bring the toes together to find a little bit of balance. And on an inhale, we're going to lift the right leg up high. Hold it here. And then exhale as we come back down. Swap it over. Inhale to lift the left leg up. Exhale as we lower. Inhale, right leg goes high. Exhale as we lower. Inhale, left leg goes high. Exhale to lower. Last time. Inhale, right leg goes high. Exhale to lower. Last one on the left side goes high. Exhale to lower. Drop to the knees. Nice. Bring the hands back underneath for tabletop. Find a little bit of a rest. Find a child's pose if you need it. When you're coming back, we're going to come back to that tabletop. Lift the knees for a plank. Drop down to that forearm plank. Setting up that foundation. We're going to shift the hips, finding a side plank in our forearm. So I'm going to roll onto the right side of my right foot. Hips come to the side. And I'm going to lift up onto the fingertips on my left fingers. Finding that side plank on a forearm. So my elbow is directly underneath the shoulders. My hips are out to the side. And I'm really lifting up through my hips, sending them to the ceiling. Exhale as you come back round onto the toes, finding that forearm plank. We're going to roll onto the left outside of the left foot. Feet stack, lift the hips up towards the ceiling and lift up onto the right fingertips. All the strength is coming from that forearm into the shoulder. Really push the mat away from you. Maybe the gaze goes out to the side. Maybe it's down at the floor. That's fine. But think about lifting those hips up nice and high. Nice deep breaths. You got this. And exhale to come back to that forearm plank. Drop to the knees. Take a child's pose if you need it. When you're ready, come back to a tabletop, tuck the toes behind you, lift the heels down into it, come back to that downward facing dog. Propel the legs out if you need it. Then on an inhale, lift the heels up high. Ripple all the way forward to find that plank. Shoulders directly over the wrists. We're going to drop down to that forearm plank once more. Hold it here. Let's find one leg raise on each side. So inhale, take the right leg high. Exhale to lower. Inhale, take the left leg high. Exhale to lower. Nice. Then walk the hands, bring the feet in just ever so slightly and push the hips back and high. So we're finding a dolphin pose here, really pushing through the forearms, sending the hips back and high. Nice. Bending the knees if you need it. So it's exactly the same as a down dog, but we're on our forearms. Nice deep breaths. Then exhale to shift the shoulders back over. Walk the feet out if you need to find that plank. We're coming into a side plank forearm. So we're going to roll onto the outside of the right foot. Hips open. They stack the feet on top of each other. But this time you can either come up onto the fingertips on the left side or take it off completely, raising the left hand all the way up to the ceiling. Really lift the hips up as high as you can. Nice. Hold it here, stacking those shoulders. We're nice and strong. Nice deep breaths. And exhale as we bring the fingertips back down, rolling onto the toes, back into that forearm plank, opposite side. Roll onto the left side of the foot, stack the feet, come up onto the right fingertips, and then maybe draw the right hand up towards the ceiling. Nice and strong in our forearm side plank. Lift the hips up high. Nice deep breaths. And exhale as you bring it all the way back down. Find that forearm plank. Nice. Drop to the knees here if you need to. Come onto the hands. Send the hips up high and back for downward facing dog. Whew. Let's take a nice deep breath. In through the nose. And open the mouth to sigh it out. Take one more just like this. Inhale through the nose. And exhale, sigh it out. Nice. Come onto the knees. Let's drop to a child's pose. Taking the knees out wide if you need to. Sitting the bum back and down. When you're ready, coming to find that tabletop position. I'm just going to stretch out those shoulders now. So we're going to inhale, take the right arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, as you bring it through underneath and thread it underneath the left arm. Shoulder comes down onto the mat, side of the head comes down. Thread the needle arms. And just hold it here. Nice deep breath. Softening on that exhale. Then on the next inhale, bringing it all the way back up. Let's reach up towards the ceiling with that right hand. And exhale, bring it back down, opposite side. Inhale as the left arm goes up towards the ceiling. Exhale to thread it underneath the right arm. Dropping the shoulder down, head comes down to the mat. And just hold it here. Nice deep breaths. And on an inhale, bring that left arm back up, send it towards the ceiling. Exhale as you bring it back to tabletop, starting with the wrists underneath the shoulders. We're going to walk it out to puppy. So keeping them shoulder width apart, spread the palms, lower that chest back down to the mat. Resting the chin, nose or forehead down, sending the hips high. Nice deep breaths. Drawing the chest down towards the mat. Then on an inhale, slowly come back up with the chest. Walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. We're going to come down to lying on our belly. I'm going to take the feet so that are hip width apart, and the fingertips are going to come out off the mat, but they're staying shoulder height. And first of all, we're going to draw the right arm out to the side, keeping it at shoulder height, maybe just walking it down a centimeter length down. Then we're going to take the forehead to the mat, and we're going to roll onto the right side of the body. So we're really pushing through the left fingertips, opening into the right shoulder. Side of the head comes down to the mat. And if it's accessible for you, you can bend into the left foot and bend into the left knee and bring the left foot behind you. So we're really twisting those hips all the way back. If that's not good for you, then you can keep the legs out straight where they were. Nice deep breaths wherever you've chosen to stay. And then on an exhale, slowly lower the hips all the way back round. Release the legs. Both shoulders come down to the mat. Opposite side, left arm goes out to the side. Gaze goes to the right, fingertips draw in. Propping up onto the right fingertips. We're going to twist, roll onto the left side of the body. Again, you're welcome to stay here. If you want to go a little bit further, then you can bend into the right knee and bring the right foot flat to the mat behind you. Remember not to go too far with this one. Nice deep breaths wherever you stayed. And exhale as you bring the hips all the way back around, lowering ever so slowly all the way back to flat on the mat. And just create a pillow for your forehead and allow your forehead to rest a little bit. Take a nice deep breath. And then when you're ready, bringing yourself through tabletop, walking the knees in, finding a nice comfortable seated position just as we did at the start. Maybe you're finding a cross-legged position. Stay kneeling, that's absolutely fine. Sitting on a cushion or a block. Whatever feels good for you. And just closing the eyes here. Hands are going to come to the knees. And just roll the shoulders back. Nice deep breaths. And then roll the shoulders forwards the opposite way. Allow the shoulders to settle. And if you've got your eyes closed, just open them a little bit now as we take ourselves through a neck stretch. So I'm going to take the left hand up overhead, and I'm going to place it around the opposite ear, just behind it on the head. And then I'm going to drop my gaze towards the right, towards the left. I'm just going to find this nice stretch in the back of my neck. Tilting the gaze sort of down towards the armpit. And inhale to bring the gaze back up to the front, release the arm, taking it back to the knee. I'm going to take the left arm all the way up and around to the opposite ear, resting my fingertips behind the ear, just on the head. And then I'm going to tilt the gaze towards the arm, towards the armpit, and lower it down. Nice deep breaths. And inhale to lift that gaze, turn it all the way to the front, releasing the arm and bringing the hands back down to the knees. Closing the eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Opening the mouth and sigh it out. One more time, inhale through the nose. And exhale as you sigh it out. Grounding down through the sitting bones. Bringing the palms on top of one another and resting them in the lap. Lengthening through the spine. And just allowing the breath to settle. Tuning back into that inhale and exhale, anchoring us to the present moment. Noticing how the body feels. Noticing as the shoulders feel more relaxed and start to melt away a little bit further away from the ears. Growing a little bit taller on every inhale. Softening through the shoulders on every exhale. You're very welcome to continue through your Shavasana, or even a little bit of meditation practice from here. If not, I'd like you to bring the palms of the hands to heart center. Bow the chin to the chest. And thank yourself for creating some space for the practice tonight. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.